Welcome back to the Community Corner, KevyKev, and I tell you, it is truly an honor right now. I mean, a truly honor as we celebrate the 50th year of hip hop, and of course, St. Louis, a major player in this historic genre of hip hop, and certainly we have our place. And I was blessed to be able to be there for part of the ride as well. And one of the outstanding hip hop artists who certainly helped put us on the mark was the one and only DJ Cool Odie, who did it, of course, on his turntables with the ones and twos, but then also he did it as an artist with rap artist Sylk Smoov, and we are honored to have him on the show. Cool O, how you doing?
Oh man, what's going on, KevyKev? I'm doing fantastic, my dude. I'm honored and thankful to be on here with you, my man.
Oh man, believe me, the honor is truly mine to have you on and talk to you. And man,
Thank you so
man,
much.
we had an opportunity to talk a little while back. It was actually a birthday for our good friend Tossin Ted. Is where
Yes,
we
sir. Yes,
started.
sir.
Yes, sir. He was having a birthday party, and all the great DJs like yourself from the era where we're there. And man, I just said when we were talking, I wanted to talk to you just talk about your history. As we celebrate this 50th year. I mean, you were
hmm
there early. I mean, you were a teenager and at the old Magic 108 DJing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, like it is. Let me start by saying first and foremost, before I am Cool Odie, King Odie, Super Jogger, anything else that people want to label me, I am first and foremost the son of Dolores F. Johnson, and I make mention of that because I lost my mom
Hmm.
roughly a year or so ago, and so I'm still going through the transitions that come along with that. So I have to start by saying I'm my mother's son. I'm my parents' son first, but of course
Yes,
I'm my
sir.
mama's son, man. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I just had to get that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you stated. Um, my journey, it's so funny, man, because like you mentioned, uh 88, 89 along when I started in radio, but of course my journey started before then. At the DJ portion of me started mixing around 8 or 9 years old. It's so late 70s when I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just trying to figure some things out with my parents' records and so forth. And of course, another brother who I think
Hmm.
Spider-Man Ricky Crawford. He and I were next
Yeah.
door neighbors. Yeah,
Yes.
he and I were next door neighbors. So we kind of came into this game together. And like I said, I started off mixing first, just kind of in the house. What I would do a lot of times when my parents, well, when my mom would play a song or whatever, I would be singing another song to it. And my mother would always go, "Why are you singing a completely different song?" And I'm sitting there going, "Mama, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. Just somehow I know that those records go together." You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Wow.
So that was my preface it to actually mixing and whatnot. I just started hearing it in my head, and then of course, back then we didn't have turntables. What we had was our parents' component sets. So
That's right. With the belt
yeah,
drive, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm sitting here. We had more than one component set in the house. Didn't have a mixer at that time. You just had the big knob on it where you turned it up and down. But um, I knew that certain records. I didn't understand tempo back then. I just knew that records went together. So
Uh-huh.
that's how I started teaching myself how to mix. And then, of course, as it pertains to our market, St. Louis, East St. Louis, our metropolitan areas, hip hop was kind of introduced. Obviously, Sugar Hill Gang played on the radio first, but hip hop as it pertains to involving St. Louisans and those around us was the roll call show by the late great Dr. Jockenstein.
That's right.
And even with that, while I had been a mixing or a mixing DJ, I was also on roll call as a rapper. With my crew back then from Walnut Park and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, like I heard. people on the radio back then, Gentleman Jim Gates, Original Godfathers,
Yes.
so on and so forth, who kind of set a template for where we were supposed to go.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And I would say, like, I would, Ricky, again, going back to Spider Man, he and I would get records together all the time. We would set up, just much like New York and the other major markets, we would set up speakers outside in the backyard, on the streets or whatever, and we just started doing early stuff then. So, you being from Walnut Park,
Yeah.
you can possibly attest to this.
Sure.
But the house parties in Walnut Park were as jam packed and as notoriety, had received as much notoriety as nightclubs.
Yeah.
Like, people were coming from all over the city to go to the house parties in Walnut Park.
Absolutely.
You
And
know?
I don't remember the artist, but you remember there was a song, Gonna Have a House Party. Remember that song?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, for me it was kind of pulling double duty, Um in the early battles in the city, people, whoever I was affiliated with, like I said, typically my crew from Walnut Point, they kind of used me as a secret weapon. So it was like, for those who, if you knew I could rap, you probably didn't know I could DJ,
Uh-huh.
and if you knew I could DJ, you probably didn't know I rap.
Right.
So that I was always like, okay, we're gonna let Odie play the background till it's time to bring him out in this situation. And that's what it was. Even with the roll call, we were from the Northside crew. We were the Northside representatives of the GFC All Stars back then, and we were having it out with the Golden Boys on the radio and all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jockey
Great
Stein and the
times.
Golden
Great.
Boys, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was just great times, But that was our market's predominant introduction to hip hop. Like I said, personally, my breakout as a DJ kind of started in '83. I had been mixing before then, like I said, doing the stuff outside. But my best friend, Tommy Padaway, may he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
People who know me, anybody who knows me, knew Tommy, because we were like one and two constantly.
Uh-huh.
But I would say up until I was about 18, I was always the little homie. So everybody I ran with was pretty much 5 to 10 years older than me.
Okay.
And the same thing with, and my mom knew everybody. So I tell people all the time, my upbringing was not normal, because I had big homies who knew my mom, and my mom knew everybody. They kept me safe, so she wasn't worried, even though I'm out doing parties at an age that I shouldn't have been, being out late. My mom knew that I was safe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I go back to '83, I remember this moment. Right before my best friend passed, we reflected on this one moment. I asked him, did he remember what he said to me in '83? And '83 was significant, because at that time I had been comparing myself to the people that I heard on the radio.
Mm.
And I said to Tommy, I said, hey man, I'm pretty sure I'm as good, or maybe better than some of the people that I'm hearing. And mind you, I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and instead of Tommy saying, well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, he became tough love Tommy. He gave me an answer that I can't use his words on the radio, but he basically said, no one cares. If all you do is mix in your house, all you are is the best person that mixes in your house. Now, that's not the way he said it, but we reflected back to that, some 40 years later, 35 over 40 years later. So, and he remembered it like it just happened. So it was that moment that kind of lit a fire in me, and thus the person that y'all knew to go on and become cool, Odie, was ignited at that moment.
Wow. That motivated you to get you out there to let people hear it, huh?
Yeah. Tommy never let up. No matter what I did, no matter what I did, he was always, man. So what? I don't care. I expect more out of him. So, but that was that. Like you said, going after the roll call situation dissipated and whatnot. Obviously, Jim Gage had Rap Attack, which was still on the radio, kind of allowed people to rap. But I migrated more back to DJing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gentleman here named. No, okay, let me, because I want to try to tell it in chronological order, and I just want to make sure I get this right. I had always heard about the Animal House.
Oh yeah.
But I hadn't been yet. Again, because the parties on the north side was, we had nights on Broadway and the Coliseum and all these other. I didn't really have to branch out because enough was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, by the time I'm in high school, I'm doing parties on the south side and all, because a lot of people think I went to Northwest, but I actually went to school in McKinley.
Right.
So,
yeah, we tried to claim you. Yeah, we did. Right.
Well, hey, I love the WP. It is what it is, Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But as I would graduate and so forth, like I said, I migrated back to DJing. I was always hearing about the Animal House, but I had never been. Then the homegirls who I was DFC, which was Nurse Do, Devious D, and Nurse D. I want to say, oh God, so I apologize if I forgot a member. But they performed at the Animal House. And so that was my first time going. And they were performed on the show with Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five. So
and just interrupt just for a second, but when you talk about that Animal House, that was part of that hip hop history in St. Louis because it was right there on 367, right?
Yes, sir. Well, that was actually the second Animal House. There was one before that, and then they moved it over there.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I see this place, again, I had been told about it. But when you think you're comfortable in your own zone, you cool in your own world. When I saw it and I saw all the people there, I said, "Oh, I'm a DJ in this place. Like, make no doubt about it. I'm gonna DJ in this place." And so I was determined. I got to get to this place. I graduated 87, immediately went to college in Alabama because it was what my mom wanted me to do. Wasn't necessarily my choice.
Okay.
But you follow your parents' wishes. It is
That's
what
right.
it is. You love them, and so right. But while I'm there, I'm going, Mama, I really think there are some things for me to accomplish back in St. Louis. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to Miles College in Alabama for media, but I said, I think all the avenues that I want to do, I said, I think they're kind of there for me. Like it was more so a gut feel. So I come back and like I said, it was almost like having a checklist that didn't exist, but I knew it was things that I wanted to do and start DJing at the Animal House. Check. Get on the radio as a mixing DJ. Check. Let's go do it. And things were really. I was so blessed, man. Things were really, just seemingly magically falling in place.
And going back to the Animal House just for a minute, just give a
Yes,
list of the few names of the artists that came through there. While you mentioned Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five, who else was some of the names that are legends today that came through the Animal House in St. Louis?
Man, I have in my high school yearbook, which I still have. I have so many of the concert tickets that I attended at the Animal House. So just off my head, because my high school book is actually a few feet from me, but I'm trying to go off memory.
Okay.
So UTFO.
Oh yeah.
Whistle.
Yes.
LL Cool J, Mantronics.
Just the LL Cool J was at the Animal House in St. Louis.
Yeah. I got a picture of it. I have a picture of him on stage there at the Animal House. The Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh. Eric B and Rakim. What's the name? JJ Fad.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you something. The most packed line if you've ever seen like New York when they show the clips of Club 54 and they show people lined up all down the block and all that.
Yeah.
when Salt and Pepper
I was gonna
came
say
to the
salt and
Animal
pepper.
House,
Uh-huh.
man, the line was the most. This was the most ridiculous line I have ever seen at that time. Like
Yeah.
this was like a Black Friday line when
Yeah.
before they let
Right.
people in.
This had to be like
It was
88, right? 88,
yeah,
87,
yeah,
88. Right,
yes
right.
sir,
I
yes
remember
sir.
that. I remember that. Yeah.
Man, that line for Salt and Pepper was unlike anything I had ever seen in my life. Um, but Heavy D and the boys, the whole Uptown crew, like the Animal House was so popular at that time
Yeah.
that anybody who was anybody. Hold on, let me say this: when I traveled out of state, there were artists who heard about the animal, like national recording artists
Mm-hmm.
who heard about the Animal House that didn't get to perform there.
Incredible.
It
Incredible.
was it was St. Louis was so, oh my God, it was so popping, and there was nothing like it at that time. Particularly in this market,
Yeah.
somebody basically took what was a movie theater, and when they closed, they turned it into a two-level dance club for teens,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was just thousands and thousands of teens. Um, there every Saturday night. I would say the Friday nights were more of the open multicultural nights, and then Saturday nights was hip hop. That was us.
That was that. Yeah. Yeah. And you what you're saying too is obviously St. Louis was a key stomping ground in the hip hop world. They had to come here and they
Yeah,
had to get to the Animal House.
yes, yes. Like I said, you would be surprised how many artists of the '80s and early '90s heard about it. And I mean, when I say genuinely upset, if they didn't, oh, my alarm went off on the phone. Genuinely upset if they didn't get to, like, it was, like I said, it was legendary. Because the artists who performed here would go tell others. So imagine New Yorkers telling New Yorkers about this place in St. Louis.
Absolutely, just incredible. And and it's so much more. And we're gonna get you back, but if you fast forward, of course, you meet up, you connect up with Greg Beasley, the late Captain G,
Yes,
Magic
sir. Yes,
108,
sir.
and then
Oh,
next thing
yeah.
you know, you're on Billboard with Sylk Smoov. Tell everybody
Yeah.
about that whole progression there.
Yeah. I mean, well, you nailed it. The well, I mentioned Sonny Metcalf because he was tied to the Animal House.
Yeah,
He used to take a lot of young artists out of town to go perform. And so between the Animal House and Sonny Metcalf, that was where my crew and Silk's crew at that time met each other.
Sonny a
Again,
legend, legendary
yes, sir.
Sonny
That's my
Metcalf.
dude. I love
That's
Sonny
right, love
Metcalf.
Sonny, right?
And, and again, we're talking late '80s there. Um, I was always a fan of Captain G. Again, this I used to listen to him on the radio. I was a fan. So Sonny ended up throwing a new edition after set at what we call the West. At that time, we called it the West End Recreation Center. It
Yeah,
went on to be the Demetrius
it's
Johnson
Johnson Center,
Center,
absolutely.
right? And so, but I'm DJing at that, and it's stupid packed. It is stupid packed. And I remember one of my DJ associates, Maurice Allen, when Captain G was there, he comes and whispers in my ear, Captain G is here. So I never met him. I never met him. I put on the show. So I skipped the whole bump. What we're supposed to be DJing a party. I turned this into the Odie turntable show. And so, and eventually got back to the party. But so he comes and introduces himself to me. You know, at that time he's like, "Man, I'm gonna be getting in touch with you." And I didn't really think it was gonna happen, but I did tell him it was, an honor to meet him and so forth. So after that, Larry Shepard, the original Godfather, that's one of my mentors.
Yes.
He got me on. He got me first on Z100 FM, and I was mixing on there for a while.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually Greg gave me the call to come over to Magic. So that started that. I was doing both of them simultaneously for a while, which is a no-no. You know
Right.
that, but
Right.
I was young and didn't know any better, and so it is what it is.
Right. Right.
But Greg kept me close. He kept me close.
Uh-huh.
So when he would go out to California, he took me out there a few times
Wow.
and gave me the opportunity to meet DJs and other record people and so forth. So I got to meet DJ Quick and everybody who he was affiliated. I met him while he was in his demo stage. So he was
Wow.
making a demo at the time, unsigned, so on and so forth. And I'm meeting all the people that he's tied to.
Uh-huh.
So when I come back, Sylk Smoov had made some cassette tapes. And nobody, you always hear send a tape out and this.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really got signed from it. But I sent his cassette tape out,
Was
and
that
sure
born
enough,
and raised in Compton?
well, no, not DJ Quick. Yeah, not DJ Quick. What I'm saying, I
Uh-huh.
sent Sylk Smoov tapes out,
Okay, okay,
and the people who called us back ended up being the same people who signed DJ Quick.
okay, okay.
So, so that we ended up getting signed a
Profile
total.
Records, right? Profile?
Huh? No,
Profile?
well, so no. So what happens is there was a middle company called Total Track Productions.
Okay.
If you look on the back of DJ Quick, AMG, Boss, Second to None, Sylk Smoov, High C, they're the letters TTP on all of those labels. So what happened? They were a middle company who signed everybody, and then they in turn uh, got you the deal with the other company. So that remember, everybody I just named was on different labels.
That's
Quick,
right.
AMG, Second to None. Well, no, I'm sorry. Quick and Second to None were on Profile. Boss was on Def Jam. AMG was on Select. We were on PWL Mercury. Uh, I forget what label, JCD and the Dog Pound. But basically, the company who signed Quick signed us. That's kind of the long story short of things. Um, and I signed on as Silk's DJ. Wasn't wasn't supposed to be a rapper, but um, we produced. Hype Dog and I created a track. Um, Ended up we created Trick with a Good Rap for what was supposed the music was supposed to be for Boss.
Uh-huh.
She didn't like it, and we knew this is the sound that's missing from Silk's album.
Well, you know what? Can you hold that thought? Hold that thought. And we're gonna come back. We are
Yes, sir.
talking with one of the hip hop legends in St. Louis, DJ Cool Odie. Gonna take a time out and come right back. Back at the community corner, we are honored to have DJ Cool Odie. You was telling us about the whole Sylk Smoov process, how that went.
Yeah. So, um, as I said, we ended up creating the song "Trick with a Good Rap," which originally wasn't even intended to be on the Sylk Smoov album. It was supposed to go to Boss, and she didn't like it, and we kind of lucked into, yo, this is the sound that's missing from his album, and so the rest is history with that. There was supposed to be some collaborations on there that we just didn't have at the time, and they knew I knew how to rap because I had been co-writing some of the stuff for Boss, so they knew I knew how to rap. They was like, "You want to be on the song?" And it just lucked up, and there it was.
Man, oh man, oh man. Incredible. Incredible. That incredible. Wow. And then I mean you guys hit the Billboard charts. I think you got up to 14 or was it a top 10? I know you had a lot of success, you and Silk Smooth.
Now it was top 20. I mean, with say it was number one on jukebox, video jukebox back then nationwide. We hit number one with Bone Thugs and Harmony several times. But yeah, it did a top 20 thing with minimal promotion. So but I mean, we were fortunate, man. We got to tour with George Clinton and Too Short and MC Breed and just all because it was a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of stuff.
And, and,
You
and-
you and I gonna have to chop it up some other time too.
y-
Because I remember at the party I was telling you about when we stayed at Breed's house
you
and
told me.
Tupac and DOC were also staying there. So
We got
yeah,
to
we
come back,
definitely going.
definitely. And I know you got to run and before because we'll talk more about because you got some Tupac stories of him in St. Louis and everything like that. But I know
Yes, sir.
you have some other projects that you're working on too. If people wonder what Cool Odie is up to these days, just kind of you sum it up from tell them what you're doing now.
Well, first things first, probably going into the 2000s, I changed my name to King Odie, which
Okay.
was so funny because people would find me on social media and they'd be like, "Are you Cool Odie?" Yeah, still the same guy. Um, I've touched so many artists in the 2000s that people just didn't know that I was behind that. There was a brother here by the name of Big Will. Some may know that he was on 106 and Park. He was the first St. Louisan to be on 106 and Park Freestyle Friday. At that time, my partner Luke Mine and I, we were producing the Slew Crew. But and like I said, I've touched a lot of artists. Right now, I'm working with a gospel artist by the name of Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
You all will be hearing his music very soon.
Yes.
I love the brother. I love the brother so much. We probably annoy each other all the time to death, but I love him. And like I said, I'm will definitely be doing whatever I can to make sure you all hear Gabriel. And then I have a few surprises coming going
All
into
right.
2024.
Oh man, that is awesome. Cool O, King O. We sent you St. Louis's O. We know that. And man, I appreciate you
Yes,
so
sir.
much for taking time out. And we look forward to talking more to you about your projects. And Gabriel, I know you got so much going on. Man, it's an honor to have you on, man. You are truly one of the hip hop legends, and you helped build that hip hop history in St. Louis. Thank you so much for taking time and being with us on the Community Corner.
No doubt, Kev. Thank you, my man. I definitely appreciate you keeping me in mind. Everyone likes to be remembered for their contributions. And so I appreciate you honoring me, my man.
Again, we say special thanks to Cool Odie, King Odie, for being with us on the Community Corner with KevyKev.